Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Paul Tranny here. Going to dive into today's Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. Good to have you here. So this is going to be really fun. We're going to get into honestly, I feel like I've taken all these challenges and shown things that even, somebody that knows Photoshop pretty well might miss. So that's the goal of all of these, and I'm glad you're here. So we'll dive into this. Feel free to say hello. I see you, Andreas, Sean, and everyone is saying hello, and I love it. So let me just go ahead and switch my screen just so you can see what I am talking about when I say Daily Creative Challenge. And we are back, by the way. This is, I'll show you in a second. Let's just switch over. Bam, Daily Creative Challenge right here. Here is the link, and as we scroll down, you can see all these that we've done. We're at day 6, right? Pixelate, Pointilize, Mezzotint, right? So these are features. You're like, what do those words mean? Well, that's why you're here. So awesome. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I am here to help you. I think, you can learn something from everyone, and you need to start. Think about that with anyone you meet. It's like, what does this person have to teach me, right? Because I'm always learning on a regular basis, and I'm learning from people in chat as well. So thanks for joining along. You can get started right here. Is going to grab this file right here, okay? So just go ahead and download that file, and we'll get started right now, okay? So this is just a sample file. It's just a PSD that has a couple of various files in it, or layers that we're going to work with. Yes, what is Mezzotint? What does this mean? Right, here's your file, right? And I have some other assets that'll be fun to work with, because today our journey is going to take us into space. To answer your question, this is kind of the effect that you get from Pixelate, Pointilize, Mezzotint, right? From all of those. I just made this file for you, by the way, but here they are. This is the regular image. I actually added a couple more too, because they're all in the same menu. But right in here we have you guessed it, color halftone right here. Next up, we have crystallize. It's going to crystallize things, which is awesome. Then after that, we have Mezzotint down here. Then we have mosaic, which is like pixelate, right? But it's not called Pixelate, it's called Mezzotint. So think of Mezzotint gives you Pixelate. And then we also have our lovely Pointilize right here as well. Okay, so that's what they all are. You could see some awesome effects, and this actually kind of made a cool image. I'm kind of into it. It's kind of interesting, right? But that's just a quick snapshot of all the various effects. So let's go into our filters file. We have our background file, and we can play with this. So what you want to do is you typically want to duplicate a layer, right? You can go in here and duplicate if you right click, or just hit Command J for jump. It will duplicate that background layer, right? Because we want to kind of have a backup. I always kind of keep a backup in the background. You'll see most people's files are this way, right? And what you could do is you can come in here and say like, oh, I really liked this. Actually, out of all these effects, I kind of like this one. I kind of like this crystallize. I kind of like that crystallize. That's kind of cool. So we could do that for the background. Remember, the background looks like this. We'll go to filter, down to pixelate, and these are all the filters that I'm talking about. Hello, Hamza and Sithara as well. Hello, designers. It's good to have you here. It's a Tuesday. Feels like a Monday. But it's a good day to be alive, huh? Pixelate right in here. What did I like? I liked crystallize, by the way. Okay, so I can show a couple of these to you, right? I can actually show you color halftone. I might do that later. But here's crystallize. For all of these, you're gonna have a little sample area that's gonna show you that crystallization, right? We can have more as we drag this down. So it's actually, as the number goes down, it creates more crystals. Or we can have less crystals that are larger by dragging this up. So let's make the cell size really large, and I can just turn this into a fun background. We can always zoom out like so, right? So we can kind of get an idea of what this will look like. We'll click OK. Here's the problem with that, as some of you might know, right? This is kind of cool, right? It is very much like I'm looking through a stained glass window. Okay, but what happened is right over here is it applied it directly to that background. Okay, that's something I don't necessarily want to do. I'm all about protecting those pixels because I'm going to want to change this over and over again. So undo that. Create or convert to smart object. Smart object is going to protect those pixels. I talk about this virtually every stream, but this is going to be my Pixelate. Oops, if I can only spell. Pixelate. There we are, Pixelate. And we will go to filter, Pixelate. Oh, crystallize was what I was doing. I'm sorry. Crystallize. Here's the crystallization because I maybe wanted that to be a little less. Click OK. There it is. There's crystallize. And I could just call this crystallize if I want to, right? But what this gives me the ability to do is have a filter that I can turn on and off. So it actually protects those pixels in there. So hello, Ismail from good old Mexico. Hello, everyone. Hello. All right. Okay, so you can see that happening. I want to do something kind of cool. You could go through all of these, by the way. I encourage you to. You can actually layer them one on top of the next, right? We can drop in, say, let's just see what happens if we add Pointilize to it. So here's Pointilize, gives me all these cells as well. We'll click OK. And now we've applied Pointilize with Crystallize, right? And we can even change the order. But that's essentially what's happening there, right? So we have that Pointilize, we have Crystallize on one layer. Not crazy about Pointilize, I'm gonna turn it off and I want to get into some fun things. That's right, smart objects for the win, right? Let's take this moon, let's do something kind of cool. Maybe I'll have this astronaut. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with him, but that's for you to decide, right? Figure out what you could do with this astronaut, you know? Is he gonna be like flying through the air, right? Do we do some puppet warp with him, right? And kind of add some pins. Well, this is what I would do. I would make him look like he's maybe a little bit more like he's actually floating rather than standing, because that's what he was doing. He was actually standing, but that's okay. We can kind of pin these, move that like so. Pins, move out his leg, right? Maybe we bend it like that, right? We can do a number of things. There we go. It's kind of new pose, right? He might be flying through the air, and we can start playing with this, okay? Oh yeah, the moon is probably turning red. Considering all of the fires here in the US, it's definitely red, right? We turn these into smart objects for you professionals out there, right? For the Sam Petersons of the world. You'll probably turn this into a smart object and you'll have a shortcut key. Bam! I just use smart shortcut keys for everything, right? Now we have this protected. This moon is protected right in here. I'm gonna take this moon. You ready for this? This is what I'm gonna do, because I was asked about this on Instagram and I think it's a cool effect. I'm just gonna create a new file really fast. Let's paste this in. Let's make this really small. I'm gonna go, this will make a lot of sense in a second, but I'm gonna take this down to 500 pixels, right? So making this moon really small. And here it is. Let's shrink it down some more, right? Like that, okay? There's our moon. I'm gonna rotate it. Let's rotate it like that. And let's check this out. I'm gonna go in here to filter, pixelate. We'll go down in here to a new one. You ready for this? I think this is fun. We wanna establish speed. Check this out. We'll go beyond Pixelate, and a lot of these, we can add these in a little bit. I actually want to add this. I want to go into wind, right? So stylize, we're going to go to wind, right? And this is what we get when it comes to wind right in here. Can you see that? It's kind of hard to see, but it says, hey, take those pixels and stretch them out. Blast them, stagger them, right? Give them wind. Blast has the most. And we'll go from left. And let's just take a look at this front one. So we get these cool like distortion of these pixels using wind. Okay, we'll click OK. And now we have that cool distortion. Okay, I could do that a couple times. I'm kind of doing this for Harry PSD, why not? On Instagram, he was asking me about it. And I want to make sure when we talk about effects, we're touching upon all the effects. So we'll go to Filter. Again, it's down here. Stylize, Wind down there at the bottom. Selecting that. I'm just going to do this a couple times. Actually, let's go back in there. Sorry about that. Wind. Adding some wind. Wait for it. Wait for it. I'm just going to rotate this around. I'm just doing this 2 different times, so I have 2 different layers of this blast going on. There it is. There's 1. There's 2. I could mesh these with the original. So let me just paint to remove, like I'm doing right now. Let's get rid of that pixelation. And getting rid of it on that side, playing with these masks, right? I've already talked about masks, so I hope it's okay that I don't go into like a ton of detail. But anyways, just creating some speed right in here. There we are. Like that. There we are, just kind of creating some speed and some depth with this particular moon. That's all I'm doing. Is that okay that I did that, guys? Really fast, I get it. Right, there it is. Okay. I went pretty in depth there, but here's my new moon that I could work with, right? Rotate it around, scale it up, all that fun stuff, right? Scaling it up. Like that. Okay, new moon, there we are, saving it. It's my smart object. It's flying through the air. You get the idea. All right. Yeah, I went through a lot. That's no moon, it's a space station. Let's take him now. Let's make him look like he's going through some sort of transformation. Okay, so again, I will just duplicate that astronaut. We'll go into filter. We'll go down to some of these. In fact, let's try this. We can go through to something like mosaic, right? Here's our mosaic that turns him into all these little dots, right? All these squares, right? Makes him look pixelated. Click OK. I could blend him with the original. So for that astronaut layer, adding a layer mask, hitting B for brush, and then removing, right, parts of him, like so, along this edge. And then you can see that he's slowly being pixelated. And in this case, we'll remove this side. We could see he's kind of going through this transition in this magical world, right? A couple of fun things we can do, right? And all we did right in there is created this new layer. There it is. And added that, as we can see right down here, the mosaic, right? Check this out. You ready for this? This is gonna blow you away, okay? Michelle, Cornell, everyone, to be honest with you. Looking for Sig, okay, Sig, so look at this. Like, you would think, okay, that's cool, but like that did not work on the layer mask. Can we pixelate the layer mask? We'll select that layer mask, we'll go to filter, pixelate. We wanna go down to mosaic, there it is. And you can see what we're doing now is we're adding a mosaic filter to the layer mask. So it's no longer soft, because that wasn't working, right? It pixelated the layer mask, right? So that's what I want. Make it look more real. You can add these filters not only to images, but also layer masks to make it just look a little bit more realistic, which is what I'm doing right here, okay? That's the idea. He's going through some warp or something else. You get the idea. Okay. Yeah, so Omar, you're right. The wind effect can add some cool things to it. So we can kind of think about some of this. here he is kind of, you know, going through this transition, and that was the whole idea. It's like you have this astronaut, he's out in space, and he's getting sucked into this other dimension, right? So that's the whole idea. He's getting kind of transformed somehow. Maybe it's speed related, who knows? Maybe he's getting beamed up, right? Let's do something else with this. Command J. Let's make a new one. Ready for this? Delete layer mask. Here's our lonely astronaut. We're gonna go, again, we could do the same thing with all these. We could blend, we can have him crystallize. So have fun with these, right? Have him crystallize. In this case, right, there is being crystallized, as you can see, right? And we can still blend him with the original. But I want to do another really cool one, by the way, because you kind of, I'm doing the same thing over and over again, by the way. It's like eliminate the pixels there. Here's a situation though, by the way. Look what's happening. It is crystallizing him, but it's not really blending with the background, right? And I can have it blend with the background. It means I just need to apply it to the background. Okay, so if we want to make this look even more realistic, we can say, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and take that background, maybe take that, I don't know where the moon is, but he's either around the moon. Need to work on the composition overall. But let's take this situation. He's floating through space. Wait for it. And let's do this. I can make both of these one smart object and then apply crystallize to it. So crystallize, as we can see, since it blends it with the background, it's gonna spill over accordingly. Click OK. We can see how it starts to pixelate him, right? We could do a number of things from here. Typically, if I wanted to blend it with the original, I would have the original underneath, for instance. And this is really cool. Are you ready for this? By the way, can you change the layer mask opacity? Gosh, I have never been asked that. I don't know. Like usually you make it lighter or darker, so you could do Command U and you can brighten up the layer mask by adjusting the brightness and everything. But the opacity, gosh, there's ways to do it. I've just never been asked to do that. How interesting. Okay, so let's get this back to where it was. Here's the original. Here's our astronaut. We have this as a protected layer with a smart filter on it, but I can also jump in and select these pieces, right? So look at how I'm selecting these different crystals, right? I could select these different parts and apply them as a layer mask. So now what you have is I've used that filter to enable me to select parts and reveal the astronaut underneath, right? So that's what I'm doing right here. That's what this layer mask is. Hopefully that makes sense, right? I'm gonna do another cool one too, by the way. We have, you know, number 2. I don't know why I always insist on doing 15 of them, but it's all really easy. You know where everything is, and I'm showing you how to take it to the next level by like applying multiple graphics to this. So check this out. You ready for this? Let's go to Filter, Explore, Pixelate, Explore all of these, add them with layer masks on other layers. I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna go down to Emboss, Stylize, Emboss. Oh no, I don't want Emboss. Sorry about that. Extrude. Oh yeah, that's what I want. Let's extrude this guy now. We'll go to Filter. We've been working in Pixelate, but go down to Stylize. Okay, this is where we found wind, but we can go into Extrude. So let's take him and let's really extrude him out by using maybe 60, the size of these blocks, 60 pixels. Use these blocks randomly or do it based on the brightness of the pixel will determine how far it comes out. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. 30, that looks good, right? Click OK, and now we can see him kind of come out like so. Let's take this and do this one more time. I'm gonna go back in here to extrude. Let's do solid front faces. That's the last thing I want to select. And let's give it a depth of 60 or 80. It's just something you're gonna have to play with. And now you can see these blocks. We went beyond the good old Mezzotint, and now we have a 3D Mezzotint, right? Okay, so it's under properties. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and look. Do you mind? Well, I'll be. I guess it's right under density. Thank you. Sig, you win an award for today. I've never used density. I've always adjusted the mask more manually. So congratulations, Sig, you're awesome. But look at this. Look at this cool effect we get. This alone is really interesting. See what I did with the background? See all that leveling? And because I picked, you know, do things based on the brightness, we can see that these lighter ones are coming forward and the darker ones are kind of receding, right? So it gives me this stair-step look, right? Just like that. And again, what can we do? We could do a number of things. We could, by the way, I could actually work on this smart filter. And let me check time. I got 5 minutes. I can grab some of these blocks just like I was doing earlier, right? Let's grab this block. Let's grab this block. Let's go down, maybe not that one. Let's go over here. Just grab a couple little chunks just for fun. Let's just grab these 2 chunks that I'm selecting, right? Right over here, all of these smart filters have a layer mask on them. So here's another way to do it. Say, hey, you know what? Eliminate the filter from these 2 spots that I have selected. So let's just fill them with black. And now we're getting rid of that mask, as you can see, in those areas. Or I can just paint. B for brush, right? And there it is, okay? So that's another way of doing things, right? We can see him kind of go through this other dimension type thing. It's okay. Create something awesome, huh? Make this look horrible, because this is only okay, to be honest with you. The reason I did not use this layer mask on smart filters is because, at least up here when I did it, I was actually able to blend the astronaut with the filter. There we are. I was able to run that Mezzotint on this separate layer, so that's what I ended up doing. So anyways, kind of play with some different things. Try them out for yourself. I would say these are like okay. I did a couple different versions that are kind of interesting. Let's not forget about our moon that we made that we could always throw in here and do something interesting with it, right? And don't forget to jump out there to see what I kind of did. Actually, this is from a couple weeks ago. Here's just a couple other versions. Here's a better version of the extrude, as you can see. And then we have this one for the moon using wind. So now you know how it's done, right? Cool. I'm blocked. We blocked him. D, Abria, Eddie, Noor, you guys are fantastic. I thought this was really fun to work on. Once you have it done or have it the way you want it, less is more, honestly, I think, with some of these. It's going to be a lot of the composition is going to make this look good, but just do an export as a JPEG to your desktop and upload to Discord. And a big thank you to all of you who've been uploading to Discord. Really appreciate you guys doing that. We can see right in here, current challenge, and sure enough, post it right in there. Fun with filters. New way to do things. This might resonate with some of you. Some of you might have a lot of fun with it, but you get the idea. Make it go through that time warp or whatever. So thank you so much, Mia and everyone. Really appreciate you. You guys are awesome. I'll be back tomorrow with some more Daily Creative Challenge goodness, just so you know. And we're down to our last 3 days for this whole week as we travel around the world and into space and other dimensions is what we did today. So thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys. Stay safe out there, And I will leave it up to you guys. Looks like we have, yeah, a full day of design and Adobe XD action. So that is what's going on. There we go, 3D object. Next up we have, oh yay, Anna Davis Court is going to do some illustrations. So that's what's up next. I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of each other, and go wash your hands, huh?